I want to welcome you to this year's Political Forum. We want to thank you on behalf of the Harris County Chamber. My name is David King. I chair the board of the Chamber. And so on behalf of myself and the staff, and the Chamber members, we want to thank you all for being here, being part of this tonight. We also want to thank Creekside School, Dr. Dan Lomax, the principal here, and also Dr. Jimmy Martin for allowing us to use this facility here. We really appreciate that. As always, and we've done this in the past, we just want to, as a chamber, give you an opportunity as a voter, those who live here in Harris County, an opportunity to hear from those who want to serve you. I think that's very important, and we're going to do that tonight. We've done this in the past, and this kind of tradition we're trying to continue here in Harris County for the chamber. Also, I think in a couple of weeks, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to happen, but the Harris County Journal is going to publish a voter's guide. And it's going to have information in there about all the candidates running here in Harris County for positions, whether they're running opposed or unopposed. So please look for that. It should be in the next couple of weeks. I know it'll be out before the May 24 primary. Again, we want to thank you all for being here. Now I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Wiley. Kevin is from Georgia Power. He's also chairs our Governmental Affairs Committee.
Thank you, Dan. Hi, good evening. I'm Kevin Wiley, and first off, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for being here tonight. I appreciate your interest in our community and appreciate you taking the time to be here. I'd also like to thank Dr. Jimmy Martin, our school board, school superintendent, and Principal Dan Lomax, and the staff at Creekside for hosting us tonight. I appreciate their hospitality and being gracious to us tonight for our event. I'd also like to thank our volunteers as you came in of our Governmental Affairs Committee that greeted you. Thank you to our volunteers for serving and helping this event run smoothly. And tonight I'll be introducing our candidates for tonight's event. We have for the Harris County Board of Commissioners, District 4, the incumbent, Carrie Lang, and we have Josh Alford. For our Superior Court Judge, we have our incumbent Judge Ron Mullins. We have Alonzo Whitaker. For our School Board, District 4, we have Joe Ligon and Scott Green. Thank you all for the candidates for being here tonight. Our moderator for tonight's event will be Mr. Colin Martin. Colin is with Glenn Westmoreland's office, and Colin has a wealth of experience when it comes to coordinating and moderating these types of events, and he will be professional in his handling of tonight's moderation, and he will be also, keeping us on time and on schedule. So, Colin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Kevin, and I also want to echo thanking the Harris County Board of Education Superintendent Jimmy Martin for letting us be here this evening. I also want to make sure, I can't remember if David mentioned it, I want to make sure we mention our two sponsors for tonight's forum, AT&T and Gary Jones of the Greater Columbus, Georgia Chamber of Commerce, who's also on the Harris County Chamber Governmental Affairs Committee. And of course, I want to thank the volunteers for being here as well. So tonight, here's the format. We're going to focus on one race at a time. We're going to start with the County Commission race, and then move to the Superior Court Judge's race, and then to the School Board race. Each candidate will have a 1-minute opening statement, and at the end of the questions, each candidate will have a 1-minute closing statement. We will ask 4 questions in the County Commission race, and we will ask 4 questions in the School Board race. All of these questions have been developed by our Governmental Affairs Committee. The candidates will alternate answering a question and responding to the other candidate's answer. When you are asked the question first, you will have 90 seconds to respond. And when you are providing a rebuttal answer, you will have 90 seconds to respond. The Superior Court Judge portion will be handled in a different manner. This portion will take place between the County Commission and the School Board forums. The Superior Court candidates will be asked a single question: why you chose to run, what do you bring to the judgeship that makes you unique? And we'll have 3 minutes to respond. Now, several folks have asked written questions on cards to ask. We will not ask any questions in the judicial race. It's just going to be those 3-minute statements from each candidate, and that'll be it. We will use a Fox News debate style bell, and I will enforce that, gentlemen, as our notification device for timing. Please reserve the time limit so we can keep things moving. If we have time at the end of this, we do have a couple questions that have come from the floor to ask candidates. If you have a question still, if you'll see Kim, would you wave? She's in the back. You can get a card from her, fill it out, and get it to either Kim or David or Kevin. And we'll look at trying to answer that. So, before we begin, gentlemen, any questions? So we will begin with the County Commission District 4 race. We have incumbent Harry Lang with challenger Josh Alford. Mr. Chairman, we'll start with you. You have 1 minute to give your opening statement.
Is this mic picking it up long enough?
Now, you might want to... Thank you.
And welcome to all of you for being here tonight. I'm thrilled to be here and to be able to answer questions and let you folks get a little bit more insight into what Harry Lang is all about. I love Harris County. What a wonderful place to live, to experience our quality of life, to raise a family, and to retire. We worked hard to be where we are, and we continue to strive to maintain and even improve our life experience here. We are a very financially stable county and have not raised our millage rate on the county operations portion of your property taxes since 1993. This has been accomplished through attracting businesses to locate here, carefully planning and scheduling capital expenditures, and protecting and improving the policies and assets we have. I'm proud to have been a part of this. Growth is inevitable, and we understand this and manage it properly so that we maintain.
Time's up.
Good evening. As a lot of y'all know, my name is Josh Alford. I've been here since I was 5 years old, and I was one here to take Harris County District 4 Commissioner seat. Again, I'd like to thank the Harris County Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, and especially all of y'all turning out tonight. All of y'all that don't know me, I'm a strong supporter of public safety. I will work to ensure that we keep and raise our salaries and benefits for all of our county employees, so we're not just a training ground for other counties. And speaking with several employees that are employed in various departments, one of the main issues seems to be outdated equipment. Our current communication system appears to be outdated. It is possible by updating our system, the county can save money and return the revenue back into the public safety budget, or whichever one sees fit. By tapping into recent...
Okay. All right, thank you both for your opening statement. So here's the first question. And we will start with Harry Lang, and then Mr. Alford, you'll get a chance to respond. How would you define the role of a commissioner in representing not only your district, but also as the county as a whole?
The duty we have as commissioners is a pretty sacred duty that's been placed on us by the taxpayers. We, number one, do have to represent our district, and sometimes districts differ in what they need. But we also have to be very much aware of the things that happen for the county and what puts the county in the best light for years to come. So whatever is good for the county as a whole is what we really need to work toward doing. This requires an awful lot of investigation, an awful lot of study, familiarity with business principles as far as determining what is the best financial investment to make, how and when do you time that, what is the return investment on it, and what provides for the safety of the citizens and for maintaining our quality of life.
Mr. Alford, you have 90 seconds for a response.
As a county commissioner, I feel that you should take care of what's good for the whole county, but you also should dedicate a portion of your time for your community, your district. And speaking of the timing on development, we're behind the ball right now on development with 27 widening coming up. We need some economic development here in our community.
Okay. All right, well, hang on to the microphone. You'll answer first the next question. As you know, the Harris County budget is $20 million in operations. It's very complex and multifaceted. What are the largest and most complex projects you have managed, and how has that prepared you to serve on the county commission?
Does marriage involved in that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is marriage more complex? That's pretty complex right there.
Amen, brother, but I didn't say that.
I am a small business owner, and that's the most complex thing that I myself have managed. And it has prospered and grown every year over the past 10 years.
Okay. Mr. Lang?
There are a number of things that I've faced in my career. I've worked for the Coca-Cola Company, the parent company, for most of my life, where I handled purchasing and procurement decisions totaling around $400 million a year. I have also had my own business, which I ran for 10 years, and I got more familiar with some of the areas which were new to me. But certainly financial education and understanding of how you have to run a business to keep it going, to keep it safe, and to give you a cushion to keep operating. Operating a county, while our budget is only in the range of $20 million, we deal with all sorts of things, dealing with citizens, with animals, with fire, with police, with roads. And I think we've got a pretty good record of maintaining all of those things and reacting very quickly when we had emergencies come about.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lang, and you can hang on to that for the next question. What are the most critical issues facing Harris County over the next 12 months, and how would you address them?
I think the biggest issue really addressing Harris County over the next 12 months are going to be financial issues. We have just completed a financial survey, a salary study, and we'll be reacting to that within the next month or so as we go through this budget. The expense of doing what we would like to do is very, very large. Something that would probably cost us money that we don't have. So we have to determine how best to do that. What is the best way for the county? Is it to cut some services somewhere? Certainly not at the expense of jobs. We don't want that to happen. Is it to dip into kind of our rainy day fund and give us a little bit of time, because the business park is producing about $500,000 a year now into our tax stream, and over the next few years will grow to over $1 million in taxes. So timing sometimes is the issue that we need to look to. So I think the financial end of it is going to be the biggest issue we face. It's been a struggle the last few years to try and balance that budget without going up on taxes, and we do our best to try and do that, but we also have to make sure we maintain and improve the services that we have.
The critical issues that I see, we have a ton of residential growth coming, and we're behind the ball right now with any other revenue coming in besides just property taxes. When you speak of residential growth that's coming in, we do not have, our buses are overpopulated right now. You can't even have we have a no guest rider policy right now because our buses are overpopulated. We need to fix that before, if we can bring in some revenue other than residential property taxes, that's where we need to start. And speaking of cutting costs, the last thing we want to do is step into a rainy day fund when we have stuff right at our fingertips that we can tap into to bring in some revenue.
All right, Mr. Alford, you're going to hang on to that. Well, next question is for you. In your opinion, what can we do to make Harris County more attractive to business, thereby bringing in quality jobs and tax dollars while maintaining a rural feel and quality of life? And what experience do you bring to the table to ensure this success?
Well, you know, it is complex when you're trying to make it appealing for companies to come in, but it's just, you got to balance it with bringing in appeal. We could start right here with Pay Park. I mean, Pay Park, we have money sitting in a fund that is raised from the SPLOST funds from '99 and 2004. I mean, we need to use that money to get our fields up to par. Dugouts do not have gates on them. We do not have bullpens for the kids to warm up in. If we could just spruce up our fields to where we can host some tournaments, there's one way of bringing in revenue. We're making our county look better.
Okay. Mr. Lang? I'm assuming you're done. You have time left, but you're done. Okay.
Would you repeat the question again, please, Tom?
In your opinion, what can we do to make Harris County more attractive to business, thereby bringing in quality jobs and tax dollars, while maintaining a rural feel and quality of life? And what experience do you bring to the table to assure this success?
Thank you. I think we've taken a big step already with the way that we have managed our property. We have several years ago realized that we needed to bring in more dollars other than residential property taxes. So we decided to come up with a business park, and we started that business park. Right now there's $178 million of capital investment in that business park, providing over 1,600 jobs, and will, as I said earlier, bring in taxes of over $1 million. We have also trying to maintain our green space and our quality of life here. We chose the property near the interstate to have a more dense area that will also have not only some corporate office type things, but many small businesses, so that will help revenue. And we have done a lot of things like that. As far as the school board, certainly in our school system, is well known, and that is a big plus for the county. And some of the things that we have done lately with the community center and some of our increasing parks, those are very positive things that bring people here. And we hear that particularly from realtors all the time, that folks are very impressed with that when they come here. So that brings folks. As far as economic development along 27, I understand why that hasn't happened, because we don't know where it's going to be and where those businesses can locate.
Okay, now we're going to go to closing statements. So, Mr. Lang, you can hang on to it and give your 1-minute closing statement.
All right. The people here are wonderful. The quality of life is amazing. And we are among the most 5 stable economic counties in this state of Georgia. We will continue to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. My notion of a good leader is being a good servant to the citizens of Harris County, and I never forget who I work for. I am working for you. I firmly believe that I am the most experienced and qualified candidate for this office. I ask for your vote for Harry Lang for County Commissioner, District 4.
On closing statements, I'd like to just thank y'all again. I appreciate your time this evening. But one thing I want to make sure y'all understand, that this millage rate, it's been low. But there's 2 ways that they can tax you. And as y'all can tell, our taxes haven't done anything but go up every year. So that needs addressing. And, you know, along with what I was saying earlier, if we can bring in a company that has the capability of hooking the whole county up with broadband internet service, that can save us money not only for the county, but it provides a service for the whole county. I mean, we can save money by just on air cards that the county deputies have to use for the court. That's a payment on each one of them. So I appreciate y'all's time, and I really appreciate y'all's vote come May 24th. And don't forget, early voting is May 2nd. Thank you.
Let's thank these candidates with a round of applause. Hang on, technical issue. Excuse me, thank y'all for letting me take care of that. We'll now have our judicial race, and each will have 3 minutes to speak, and so it's just one question. I'll only ask it this one time. Why have you chosen to run, and what do you bring to the judgeship that makes you unique? Judge Mullins, you're up first.
Thank you, and thank you for coming out on a Monday. I've chosen to run because I've been a Superior Court judge the last 2 years. I've enjoyed my job immensely, and I would like to continue doing this job for the foreseeable future. I'm up now for a full 4-year term, and that's what this election will be out. What do I bring that makes me unique? I'm not sure if this makes me unique, but I'll tell you about myself, and you judge whether that makes me unique or not. I was born and raised here in Harris County. Both sides of my family go back many generations. We did not grow up well off, but we didn't know it because basically everybody we knew about the same level. I had the great experience of going to good public schools here up in Pine Mountain, when it was known as Chipley, and then I graduated from Harris County High School. Some of you are old enough to remember a lady by the name of Miss Palmer. I was by Miss Palmer for 3 years. She got me ready for college and for life. That might make me unique in some sense. I'm not sure about that. I went to the University of Georgia back when just about anybody could get in. They let me in then. I've always been thankful they let me in for lots of reasons. I got a good education there. The best thing that happened to me then was meeting my wife, Mary. We've been married 41 years, and she's here with me now. After getting out of law school, I practiced law for about 35 years, mostly doing civil litigation. I did lots of lawsuits. Many of the cases here in Harris County, I was based in Columbus, handled thousands and thousands of cases, tried hundreds of jury trials throughout counties in west central Georgia. I had sought appointment for Superior Court judge multiple times, but 2 years ago I got the call that changed my life, a call from Governor Deal. I told him for the first time in my life, I think I was speechless, but I thanked him for the appointment. I've been sworn in, and I've been serving for the last 2 years. Most of you know that we serve in a 6-county circuit. It's larger than some congressional districts. We hear cases in the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit, which is in Harris, Muskogee, Taylor, Tarbert, Chattahoochee, and Marion. So all of the judges travel over all of those counties, and we hear cases, both civil and criminal cases. Shortly after I got the appointment, I received a call from a dear friend, a guy named Major Harding, who was on the Florida Supreme Court. He's now retired, but he said, "Would you like some advice as a new judge?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "When I was first going on the bench, a seasoned trial judge told me these 2 things. Treat everyone who comes before you with dignity and respect, and try to rule based upon the law as you understand it." I would say that I'm not a perfect judge, but I would say I strive as hard as I know how to do those 2 things. The last thing that I would say is my sister, who's also here, is the former probate judge of Harris County, and watching her and how she treated people, I've also tried to model how I do that as I go forward. Again, I would ask for your vote. If you're on Facebook, please look me up. We've got a lot of good information on there. And again, my thanks to the Chamber for hosting this event. Thank you.
Mr. Whitaker.
Thank you. The reason I am running for Superior Court judge is I want to bring back a prosecutor's perspective to the bench. We have 7 Superior Court judges, but none of them have felony prosecutorial experience. I am currently your Chief Assistant District Attorney for the Chattahoochee Judicial Circuit, and upon being appointed Chief Assistant in 2009, I worked for 2.5 years out of the Harris County office. I was one of 2 attorneys working there, and the 2 of us handled the entire county. I've tried many cases, and I protected the citizens of Harris County by making sure cases went to trial and people had their day in court. I am also a former Recorder's Court judge and environmental court judge. I have judicial experience, as well as upon graduating from law school, I worked with the Public Defender's Office for 7 years, so I have a defense perspective. I've been in a small business with my twin brother, Alfonso, and we have Whitaker and Whitaker Law Office. So I've done it all. But most importantly, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a first-generation college graduate. My mama finished the 7th grade and my father finished the 3rd grade. There was no way for me and my brother to go to college. He was the most studious, so he went to law school first. I worked and helped him. The year he finished is the year I started. I know what teamwork is, and I know what it takes to help get someone to where they need to be. But more importantly, as a chief assistant district attorney and a district attorney, I understood that justice delayed was justice denied. And I want to see an efficient, productive Superior Court. Sometimes we have dockets where people are called to court 2, 3, and 4 times before their cases are disposed of. Many of those people work from paycheck to paycheck and don't have the opportunity to get paid when they have to miss court. I've seen cases where we've had people there 3 or 4 times, and on the 5th time, when the trial is actually going to go, we can't locate him again. I am one of the only judges I know, excuse me, a little ahead of myself, only DA I know that I've had a jury deliberating a case and I was standing in front of the judge picking another jury because I understood that people's lives are at stake. Asking for your vote. Thank you.
Why don't we give these 2 candidates a round of applause? Okay, we're now going to go to School Board District 4 race. We have Scott Green and Joe Liggett. So we'll go with opening statements. Mr. Liggett, since you've got the mic, we'll give it to you first.
Hi, I'm Joe Liggett. I'm running for school board. Harris County has a great school system right now. The challenge will be to protect it in the midst of ever-increasing federal control. In addition, we're going to be challenged in the future with population growth and the possibility of another economic downturn. I invested in this community. I have 4 kids already in the school system. They're doing really good. And I've been on the fire department, the volunteer fire department, for 5 years now in Catawba. I bring a strong technical and communications background to the board. I'm Joe Liggett, and I'm asking for your vote on May 24th.
Mr. Green.
Good evening. My name is Scott Green, and I'm running for District 4 school board seat. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been living here in Catawba for 11 years, and I have an 18-year-old son that will be graduating from Harris County High School this year, who has been in the school system since this school opened here when he was in 6th grade. I feel like I haven't been an educator, but I feel like I have been one. My mother was a retired school teacher, so I feel like I've been doing it my whole life. So I feel like I bring some of that knowledge with me to this seat. And again, I'm just looking for your vote on May 24th.
All right, Mr. Green, if you'll hang on to the mic there, we'll start with you. You guys both might have answered this in your opening statement, maybe expand a little bit. What is your perception of the Harris County school system, and what do you believe are its strengths and weaknesses?
I believe that the Harris County School Board is one of the best school districts here in Georgia. I do think that there are a lot of pros that go along with this school system, one of them being the work-based learning program that my son is currently going through. I mean, it gives kids a good background to find out what they want to do in the future with their careers. And again, it has really helped our family as to what decisions my son wants to do going forward with his career. I know that core curriculum is a big subject, and we'll do whatever is necessary either way, because again, it does have pros and cons, and I've seen both sides of it. One of the things I think that we need to address, I mean, these are personal issues that we've faced, is being able to communicate with our educators on a regular basis so that we'll know the progress of our students in the school system, be it through emails or communication in what other way or means that we can communicate with our educators and how our students are doing in the classroom.
All right, Mr. Milligan?
I will reiterate, we have a great school system in Harris County. It is the envy of our region. Many people I've talked to, including myself, before I even had kids to go to school, we planned ahead. We said we want to have our kids to go to Harris County School. And we don't have a lot of the infighting and problems that you find in the county to the south. One of the challenges that we have, though, is probably we're going to have the population growth problem, and with that, transportation. Even now, our transportation system is strained, and we probably need to look at the future with that, with the buses and getting our kids in and out of school every day. We have only a handful of schools that everybody has to go to every day, and then they have to go back to work. Then at the end of the day, they have to go back and do the same thing, reversed. So that is something that we want to help everybody out with.
All right, Mr. Liggett, you hang on to that there. What positive impact will you make as a school board member?
I bring to the board strong technical and communication skills. My engineering degree, as well as my IT experience working for TSYS for 13 years, has given me a unique perspective for being able to, for instance, evaluate vendors, and in particular, the STEM education programs that are becoming hot right now. With the help of Toastmasters, I've completed a competent communicator course and competent leadership course, and I'm certified for that. I'm a kind of a fan of Robert's Rules of Order and parliamentary procedure, so I think I would really brave during meetings and asset for that.
All right, Mr. Liggett. Mr. Green?
I feel like our communication, our open line of communication is very important, and I'm willing to listen to what the people of our district have to say about our school system. I'm very open to listening to what people say and taking it to the board and the superintendent and doing what's best for our kids. I mean, that's what the job of a school board member is I mean, just to keep our kids' best interest in mind when it comes to their education and working with the educators and the superintendent and then the community as a whole to make and continue this to be the best school system around the state. So I mean, that's what I feel like is important to the school district, and I'm willing to have an open ear and listen to what everybody has to say and then be your voice at the board meetings.
All right, Mr. Green, you can hang on to that. What is the most important function of a school board member?
I think the most important role is, again, to be the voice of the community in the schools. You're the ones that have the kids there. You depend on us to make the best decisions for your kids. And again, I mean, to keep our staff members here on, not just our educators, but just all the staff as a whole. I mean, our bus drivers, our lunchroom people, and everybody in mind. I mean, we want to keep those jobs here in the community and not have to outsource those or anything. So, I mean, I think my role is to be the voice of you, the people who have concerns about our system, and not only that, just your kids that are in the system.
All right, Mr. Liggett.
But I am here for my kids and to make everybody's kids have a great, best possible education that they can possibly have. And, okay, your question again?
I'm sorry, what is the most important function of the school board member?
The function of the school board member is to, for one thing, facilitate the ability to voice the community's input into what the school does. And one thing is the power of the purse. We make sure that all the school administration works ethically and does not overspend on things that they do not need to.
Okay. If you are elected, Mr. Ligon, on January 1st, what will be your number one priority?
My number one priority would be, as I said, transportation, and also whenever we can, wherever we can, fight the Common Core issues and any kind of other things that are being handed down from the state and the federal government. I believe that the control needs to be with us, with the local school board, as much as possible. So, you know, it's not just me, it's everybody out here needs to have uproar about what's going on with this. But as far as what I want to do, I want to do everything I can to try to make sure that we have local control over our education and better transportation.
Mr. Green?
If I was elected on January 1st, I would make sure we have a balanced budget. I mean, I don't know if many of you know that it takes a lot of money to run a school system, and the best thing that we can do is make sure that we can hopefully guarantee these people that are in their current roles, that we can keep them on staff. And I mean, I don't know about many of you, I mean, I've gone through a layoff and it's not real fun. And I guess a big topic subject is, I've seen in the newspaper, is the nutrition program here at the school. And we just want to make sure that, you know, our kids are getting what they need education-wise. And again, I always will support the work-based learning program. Again, I know a lot of the core curriculum is a big subject for a lot of people, but it does have its pros and well as its cons, and we'll just work the best that we can to make sure, whichever direction we go, that our kids are the number one priority and they get the education that they need to better prepare themselves for the future, because there are a lot of kids that I know who have graduated college and don't have a job to go to. So let's give those kids something to fall back on to where they will have jobs and they can continue to come back to this community and support it just the way that we do.
All right, Mr. Green, you can hang on to that and give us your 1-minute closing statement.
I think I've just about covered everything that I feel is important to this community. I know most of you are here because you've got an invested interest in it with either children of your own or grandchildren. And I know I have a child that is now leaving the school system, and I know he's better prepared for the future because of it. And I hope that I can be a part of bringing others along with that, and that supporting your children along the way in the K through 12 program here in Harris County. I've been so thankful for our son being in this community and in the school system. I just look forward to working with each one of you and supporting you in the community in District 4, and I appreciate your vote.
Mr. Ligon, your closing statement.
I think the Chamber of Commerce for putting this together. It's really good that we don't just go to the polls and have educated votes about what we're doing. And the May 24th election may seem like it's not as important as the November one, but it really does set the stage for what could happen later on. So I encourage everybody to go out there and vote. This is, like I said, this is not about me, but about the education of our kids. It's about my kids, it's about your kids, and we want the best for them because we're not going to be around for very long compared to them. They're going to take over. In closing, I'd like to say I'm Joe Ligon, and I would like your vote on the May 24th for the school board.
Let's give these candidates a round of applause. We have some questions from the audience. Before we get to that, I do want to remind everyone that May 24th is the election. However, early voting starts next Monday. We'll go for 3 weeks. There's locations in Harris County if you do early voting. One location, and I'm assuming that's the courthouse. So please make sure you vote. At least in the school board case, that'll probably be your only chance to vote in that election. So let's go to, we have a couple of questions here on the county commission race. So we'll start with this one. You both answered this question a little bit, but it's slightly more specific. What is your vision for the Northwest Harris County Business Park, and what will you do to recruit more companies to the business park? Mr. Allen?
The north, I'd have to look at all the details to it. I'm not as familiar as someone that's been sitting for 12 years on it, so I'm not going to sit here and ramble on like I know all the details to the North Business Park. But I do know that it's a large industrial, and it's starting to pay off a little bit, but we need to focus back on our communities around here where the growth is taking off way further than what it is up there. So I feel that it is important, but we have a lot of growth going on right around here that we need to focus our attention on now. Especially when we have revenue returning from that going back into the general fund, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to.
Mr. Lyon?
The Northwest Harris Business Park is a true jewel that is still under development. Just about 6 weeks ago, I signed a contract with another Korean company to come in with $35 million investment and 110 jobs. We are continuing to develop the land that we have. We right now are talking to a couple of other large prospects that could bring in additional money. So we need to keep that going. It's something that we do share. It's out on the northwest side of our county, so really we don't feel much of the impact for traffic or any of those issues. That's a great place for it to be. As far as businesses elsewhere in the county, yes, small businesses are very, very important, and the small businessman is very key. And we do need to provide opportunities for that, but we need to have those come in a place and located in a place where other like businesses are. We don't need the spot zone, and for right now, we don't know where we're going to have land because of the oncoming expansion of 27. But the Grove will be a great opportunity for many, many small businesses, and will bring a lot of tax dollars here that currently are being spent in Columbus, Muskogee.
All right, Mr. Lang, hang on to that for a second. This question we asked in a different way, but I'm going to go ahead and ask this question so that maybe if you've missed anything or want to expand on your previous answer, what in your background qualifies you to handle millions of dollars in taxpayer money?
I have had a career of making big decisions, multi-million-dollar type decisions, and that comes with a lot of study as to how best to do those, what is the best for the constituents that it answers to. My education is, I have a master's in business administration, so that has given me a lot of the book learning side of it that then you apply common sense to in everyday experience. I think I'm very thorough in looking at things, looking at the options, listening to opinions from others, and then making decisions based on what has been presented.
Repeat the question.
What in your background qualifies you to handle the millions of dollars in taxpayer money?
See, that's just it, Lee. Although I may be the one voting on it, I'm out here, I work in this community every day. I'm not running around to the houses right before election trying to get your vote. I'm going to be out here talking to you, letting you know what's going on so we can make these decisions together. I mean, that's the whole point of being a commissioner, is staying in touch with the constituents so your vote is what is happening. I mean, I know that we're hearing that we don't know where to rezone, but DOT has already had 27 laid out 10 years plus before it's coming up through here. How do you not know where we could develop land at this time? So I'm not gonna sit here, I don't have a master's degree or nothing, but I will stay in touch with you and let you know what's going on with the money that we are spending and where it will be spent.
Thank you, Mr. Alford. And now we have 2 questions for the school board candidates. The first one, what is your stance on bullying and/or sexual harassment in schools? And what is your stance on disciplining the students who are accused of sexual harassment or bullying?
Those kind of folks don't belong in the schools, for one thing. They need to go outside the population. When I was in school, we had bullying. I was probably a victim of that just as much as anybody. And I think that part of that is jealousy of their academic success. And the more you get people out of that and get the kids that really want to learn to be there to do what they're supposed to do, you're going to have a better academic environment. But at that age, you do have to recognize that young kids have to learn from their mistakes, and you don't want them to go on the wayside. So there's plenty of programs out there, the alternative schools, or just disciplinary programs within the schools that can help with people like that. And that is probably the best way to handle that, and I'll leave it at that for now.
Mr. Green?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I don't really think there's a place in the school system for bullying at all. I think at least the first offense should be sent to ISS for several days, and of course, probably one of the worst things that you can do is contact the parent, because I know a lot of times that gets resolved at the house more than anything. On the sexual harassment aspect of it, I mean, there should be zero tolerance as far as I'm concerned when it comes to that. Of course, I know there's probably different levels, so I don't know the whole situation of the question, but I would say there should be zero tolerance as it comes to that. I know we've got programs in the school system to where if you don't know how to act in the school system, we'll put you somewhere where you can get an education, but you're not around the general public of the education in the school. So that would be my suggestion. But again, I would just support what the system voted on and what the superintendent thought was necessary, and also with our administration.
All right, thank you, Mr. Green. You can hang on to that. Again, I think we've covered this question, but we'll ask it so if you want to add anything to what you previously said. What are your qualifications for school board?
I think I did say earlier that I do not have an education background whatsoever. I am like I said, I'm a child of a school teacher. I lived it, breathed it, and did everything for 20 plus years, as long as my mother, she's always been a school teacher. She's always been an educator, and even though she's retired, she's still an educator. I bounce a lot of stuff off of her, and as we go through working with our child, getting through school, just for advice more than anything. I value her opinion more than a lot of people's, just because I know of her background. As I stated, I do not have any kind of degree or anything as it relates to education, but I feel that I have my heart in the right place as it deals with kids. I mean, I deal with kids on Wednesday nights in our church, and we deal with 350 middle school and high schoolers every Wednesday night, and I love doing it. I love helping kids. That's when I was a Little League baseball coach. I just love being around them and helping them grow individually and prosper. And then I thought this was a great opportunity to give back to my community and help the kids of Harris County grow with their education.
Mr. Liggett?
Reiterate what I said before about my qualifications, that one thing, when I was before working for TSIS, I was an engineer, and I went through several jobs. A lot of those jobs had to do with vetting different vendors, for one thing, and sometimes there would be cases where I would hand $1 million PO orders to a company executive after determining what my best guess was for between two different vendors for doing some machining or some kind of work like that. Now, similar things can occur in the school system. There's lots of high dollar things, so vetting is very important. And one of those things that have to be vetted is STEM education programs, the science, technology, engineering, and math. I have a strong background in all three of them, all four of those. And there's because of my engineering degree and because I've been in IT for a long time. And a lot of times the old stuff is really good, but you can learn a lot from just observing some of the way things were done before, such as a slide rule versus a calculator. So there's a lot that you can bring into the school system, and I know a lot about those things.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lincoln. We want to thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for support of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure the candidates are going to hang around you and ask them some individual questions and shake their hand and get to know them a little better. Thank you, and this concludes our forum.
Candidates for being here tonight and sharing their thoughts on the election and on the positions that they are seeking. I call him Martin or call it go. There it is, right here. Thank him for moderating tonight, and thanks for Kevin for handling for Government Affairs. Again, thank you again so much. Don't forget, May 2nd, Monday, early voting, May 24th, primary, and also look for the voter's guide in the Harris County Journal, probably, if not this coming Thursday, at least hopefully by next Thursday. And it will give you some information about all the candidates running or seeking to represent you in Harris County. Again, thank you so much, and these guys will hang around, and be sure to take some time to chat with them. Thank you.
Yes, I guess.